So, in September 9th, 2021, Sony had their press conference and we saw a bunch of different games. Oh, it was exciting, Sense. Were you excited? Oh my days, man.
It's like Christmas.
Oh gosh, yeah. I love this time of the year. It's just so good to see all these new games. You know, we got God of War, we got the Alan Wake remaster, little teaser for Wolverine. Oh, sick. But today we are going to be talking about Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2. Mate. If it wasn't for God of War, Spider-Man on PS4 would have been my favourite game on that generation.
Ooh.
I love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. I think it's by far one of the best versions we've ever seen in Spider-Man, all medias. So, yeah, I'm very, very hyped for Spider-Man 2.
Mate, I think it's the best superhero game, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it's up there with Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. It's up there.
It is.
It is up there, and I think you're right. The characters, the presentation, the story, the gameplay. It's every Spider-Man box for me.
Well, enough fanboy. And today,
yeah.
we are going to be talking about our theories for the second game and what we really want for the second game.
Yeah. I've got a few theories lined up. Do you want to do your first theory, or do you want me to do my first theory?
You do. You go first.
My first theory is that the game will be broken. So obviously we know there's going to be Miles Morales and Peter Parker.
Yeah,
right?
They made that clear, yeah.
They made that very clear with the trailers.
Yeah.
With the trailer they released. My first theory is that it could be a choose your hero situation.
Oh, okay,
Where Insomniac has developed two types of stories where at the start you can either choose if you want your main character to be Peter or Miles, and the story, there'll obviously be overlapping and all. I'm not saying you choose Peter, you're never going to see Miles or vice versa.
Yeah.
But I think that could be an approach they do take, is where you can either choose which story you want to go down, and then it sort of gives you that replayability. But then with all the villains coming in with Kraven, Venom, and probably maybe Green Goblin as well, that there's enough villains already that could wrap themselves between either both Peter and Miles, and then we get those overlaps. But that is one of my first theories, is that it could be a sort of, who do you want to do Spider-Man 2 with? Do you want to be Peter for most of it, or do you want to be Miles? And I think that's one of my first theories for it. I think it could be a cool one as well if you get, and it sort of gives you two games to play from two different perspectives after you completed one version with Peter, for example, and then you can go restart and do it with Miles again from his perspective.
No, I like that theory a lot, especially because I think with both their games, they wanted to make them so individual and explore their characters. I think that's what they did really well in both their games. Like, a lot of people did say like Miles Morales is basically the same game, and it is, but at least we get to see his character and his upbringing, his friends. So
that's the thing. So I can't see Insomniac going down the route where they're going to make this like a 40-hour playthrough, you know, all the story missions. And I feel like without it trying to make it feel too bloated, it would be cool if they sort of decide, okay, we'll let the gamers choose which sort of story they want to focus on, whilst obviously intertwining everything with one another. But then it sort of it gives you that incentive to then play another 20 hours, because you're going to be doing another 20 hours of different stories and different missions, you know? I think it could be a very viable approach that they take with how they want to present the game to us.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that is, to be honest, that's a very good theory, Sense. That's a very good theory.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I do. I think that
I've been doing my research.
I'll be very happy if it was like that. For my theory, though, I think what they're going to do, I think they're going to make the game co-op. I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to try and make it so that you can control both players, or both characters. So almost like GTA 5, where you can switch players in and out.
Yeah.
So the map is bigger, and you do certain missions with Miles and you do certain missions with Peter, and obviously with like the bigger boss battles, you get to choose, or they're like an assist character, and then you can just do combos out of them, or like in some scenarios maybe there's like some challenge maps, and then you can do like co-op missions with people online. I think that'll be quite interesting as well, so you can like compare scores and stuff like that. And when it comes to Venom, I think Venom's going to be very interesting, because I don't know if they're going to add the black suit in this one. What do you think?
Oh, whoa. I know that's what other three. I want to talk about quickly. I want to add it to what you just said there before we go into the Black Costume and Venom.
Okay.
Because I like what you said there, and I think you're right. Because like obviously with GTA, you sort of had Trevor doing the missions outside of Los Santos.
Yeah.
You had Michael doing the more city focus in between, and then you had obviously Franklin on the streets and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I think, especially because this game is being developed for PlayStation 5, I genuinely think this map of New York is going to be massive.
Yep, I agree.
It's going to be huge.
Yeah.
And obviously with Miles, he's going to be more based in probably Harlem anyway, and I think they're going to remake that entire like borough of New York massive anyway, where you've got more than enough to do over there without like, you know, having to go from down there all the way down to Brooklyn or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Whilst you've got PR, who should be more focused on the central area of New York and whatnot.
Exactly.
I think, it'll be a good way to explore the map. No one really complains about having 3 characters in GTA. I remember getting a load of questions, but then how they implemented it was perfect.
Yeah.
I think if they took that approach as well with Miles and Peter, I think that could work really well. It could be really cool.
Yeah, no, of course. Especially how seamless it was back in PlayStation 3 era. And now with how good the tech is with like the PlayStation 5.
Loading times.
Oh, exactly. The loading times. And just like we said about how they built their characters in both their games, I think it makes more sense that we see that, but in a seamless experience that we can just switch on and off. And maybe if you do go to Central with Miles, like you get a different interaction with like the people you save and stuff. I think that'll be really interesting to see how they do that, to be honest.
I like that, but like, whoa, what are you doing here, man?
Yeah.
You're not usually down these parts. What are you doing here? And by the way, when Peter goes up to Harlem.
Yeah.
But that'd be a pretty cool approach. But anyway, your Black Costume approach, I like it. There has to be the Black Costume and Spider-Man too. There has to be.
Yeah.
You can't be having Venom and then be like, ooh, you know, the Black Costume. There has to be the Black Costume. I think everyone loves the Black Costume.
I think, they have to have it, but I think the Black Costume is so sick that it'll have to add its own like game mechanic to it. There's no way that it's just going to be cosmetic only. You know what I mean? I think that's just a waste potential of how powerful the symbiote is. And I think it'll be interesting to see who will get corrupted first. Obviously, we know that Peter always gets corrupted in the films, but Insomniac has done a good job of making it their original story. So it'd be cool if they choose Miles first, considering he is the youngest and he's still like the trainee Spider-Man in that sense.
Well, one thing that I do find interesting with Venom and the symbiote and whatnot is that usually, I think, is it more like the comics and classic universe, is that the symbiote comes from out of space.
Yeah.
Obviously, in this one, with the post-credit scenes and whatnot that we saw, especially in the first Spider-Man, it looks like the symbiote is going to be created in the laboratory.
Yeah.
And if my research is right, that is more in line with the Ultimate Universe.
Yep. Yeah, you're right,
Am I right there?
Yeah.
See, I've done my research. But I think because of that, it's going to be interesting because obviously we've seen it tied up with Harry, and obviously again, Harry was Venom for a part of it, wasn't he? I know he's not the original, he's not the OG host of Venom.
No, he's
not.
But
he has been Venom before.
Yeah.
And it would be very interesting to see if they do eventually latch. I don't think it's going to latch onto Miles, to be honest. I think Peter's 100% going to be the one that gets it. The black suit, it belongs to Peter for me. So I think if I was to choose who's going to get the black suit and having those sort of like new mechanics and abilities, I think it's going to go to Peter, 100%.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, he's the traditional Spider-Man, of course.
I think it's going to go to him, and then it'll be cool to sort of see Miles and that conflict between them. So Miles be like, yo, Peter, what are you saying? What are you doing, man?
Yeah,
why are you going all emo?
Yeah, can you imagine if they make a reference to Spider-Man 3?
Oh, they have to. They have to. If they don't have Peter doing his little dance coming out of the shop and all that, this game is not going to be 10 out of 10 for me. What's the point making it, honestly? They've already done the reference to Spider-Man, the Raimi trilogy with the trains and stuff like that. They have to throw the little Easter egg to that callback with how emo he went. I hope they do. But one thing I'm interested in as well, with Venom, do you think it's going to be solely tied with Harry Osborn? Because as we've seen, it's already been teased that Harry Osborn's probably going to be the first, host of Venom. Eddie Brock is confirmed to be in this universe. He was in some of the Easter eggs and recordings at the start. So Eddie Brock is confirmed. He has interacted with Peter, so they do know each other. Mm-hmm. Does Eddie Brock eventually become a pretty big character in this version of Spider-Man?
I think the good thing about how they ended the game is that we don't really know who's going to have the symbiote attached to it, which is obviously interesting for story purposes, because obviously Harry's background was a mystery in the game, wasn't it? Like, we had the talks with MJ and Peter, and then we found the logs and stuff like that, and then like you said,
he died.
Yeah, exactly. So it would be interesting. I think I don't know. It's really.
It would be cool if the symbiote is the way that it's introduced, that it's there as a cure and whatnot, and then it somehow latches onto Peter, and then that somehow ends up in the hands of Eddie Brock. That could be a viable path of how it gets played out.
Yeah.
That the symbiote, maybe they'll be like, "Whoa, yo Harry, you don't look too good, but at the same time, you do look really good."
Yeah.
And then it just sort of goes from there to just start. And the thing is, like, I think we've seen it with Spider-Man where we knew Doc Ock was going to be the bad guy,
Yeah.
But they built it up really well. But even though we knew it was coming, it was still done really well. So I wouldn't be mad if the symbiote comes in and it's all like, oh, it's amazing and all that. But we already know that it's going to end up in maybe the hands of Eddie Brock if he does play a part in this.
Yeah.
But I'm happy. I already trust Insomniac with how they would craft that story and how they would deliver it. I trust them and how they would put that together. I think they deserve our trust with how they did it in Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the way they intertwine the classic storyline with their own take, I think they've just done a really good job with it. I like how they executed all of the villains, because there was actually a lot of villains in the first game. Yeah. But they were done so perfectly, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of them in this one as well. I'm interested to see if the symbiote will also affect like the enemy types as well. So like I think Spider-Man had loads of good like enemy variations that kept the game like interesting. Like that's why you can utilize your gadgets really well. So I'm hoping like maybe some of the enemies get corrupted. I don't know. There's a lot of things they could do with Venom.
I'll be with Venom and with hopefully the Black Costume. I'll be very interested to see how it works gameplay wise, because I remember playing Spider-Man back in the day, the Spider-Man 3 game, and like when you got the black suit, if I remember correctly, you were a little bit faster and whatnot.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
So it'd be very cool to see how they implement it in that, and like you said, with like how it interacts with enemies and whatnot. That would be a pretty cool aspect to it. I'll be interested to see what they do with it.
Is there anything else you want to change from the first game?
Not really, no. I trust it. Honestly, they delivered a fantastic game. Usually I've got something to complain about. Yeah. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Did I have anything to complain about? I actually don't think I did. I think it was such an amazing game. So I'm hoping they deliver again, and they seem like they really are building up their own universe. I'm interested to see if they introduce Green Goblin. Obviously, that's been teased with Norman. Yeah. I still think that they might be saving it for maybe if they're doing the trilogy. I still think they might be saving it for a third game. I don't think, with Kraven already confirmed with his voice, and with obviously Venom, and you've obviously got other super villains that might be introduced as well, like Rhino and stuff again. I don't know. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if Green Goblin makes an appearance in this one. Yeah, I mean, I feel like they have a lot to play with anyway, so there isn't real reason to shove every villain in there. I think they're doing well with the pacing anyway, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, I'm very excited. If any of these theories are involved or whatnot, I'll be very happy, to be honest. And I'm very, very happy that no one really knows yet with what's going to be in this game. And I think Insomniac, like I said, I think they've earned everyone's trust to deliver after what they did on the first game. I'm hoping it's going to be like an Arkham Asylum to an Arkham City type situation, and not an Arkham Knight situation.
Oh yeah,
even though that story was good, but yeah. I really hope it's from Asylum to City. You know, I'm hoping that's what Insomniac achieved with Spider-Man 1 to 2.
Yep, I agree, totally agree. Bring on Spider-Man 2.
It's not a game, it's a rage thing.